All right, here we go. We're jumping back into modern industrialization, and we are going to finish off digital age. And it looks like this is going to be going through the nuclear phase, and I'm kind of excited for this. So, first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at what we did in the last episode, which was modern industrialization, episode 22, part 1. We were able to get all of this done, this half, which is, it was quite a bit. We had to get the machines, multiple machines to go through the process, but we were able to finish that out. And now we are coming over here and finishing out this half. And if we look, this actually has us go through the whole nuclear side of modern industrialization, hopefully to get us ready for the end game, where we have to get the singularities and the quantum upgrades so that we could get the quantum gear. That is our main goal for this whole process, and I'm super excited to get this gear set for the first time ever. This is going to be awesome. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I see here, once we unlocked the implosion compressor, we now have the nuclear alloy plate, which is something that we have to get. We already did the soldering alloy dust previous in one of these quest lines here. I think it was for the tungsten. So we already have that going. So once we complete this one, we should be able to go ahead and move forward. Same goes for this whole set down here. And again, we do have the deuterium, the heavy water, and the tritium in our system. So whenever we get these unlocked, we could go ahead and pull the buckets out and complete these and finish up this. So I'm hoping this won't be like the last episode where it ended up to be almost an hour and 40 minutes long. I'm hoping that this will be quick. So bear with me and let's hit the nuclear phase. All right. So nuclear alloy plate. It requires the implosion compressor. Looks like we need to do nuclear mixed plate with industrial TNT. So I'm going to go ahead and mark those. And don't mind the bees up here. This is for the other project that I kind of touched on in the last episode briefly. So don't mind those. These are the bees that I need to get to progress that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go a little bit deeper. So this looks like it requires an electric mixer, which wants toluene and nitrogen with sand and flint. That will give us the industrial TNT, which doesn't seem too bad. And then the nuclear mix plate requires a packer, a blast-proof alloy, beryllium plate, and cadmium plate. We already have cadmium and we already got the blast-proof, so I think all we need to do is worry about the beryllium. So that will probably be another 2 compressors, because we'll have to make the cadmium plate. We'll have to see on that. I'm going to go ahead and bookmark those 2. All right. So let's go ahead and take a deeper look. Cadmium plate requires cadmium ingots, which is smelting the cadmium dust, which we got from centrifuging monzonite, which we should have a fair amount. We got 74k. So honestly, we can make that recipe quite easily. We just need to throw it into a furnace. So let me go ahead and make that recipe real quick. So that's going to be for the furnace. This will be for the compressor. Let's go ahead and take a look at the beryllium. I'm going to go ahead and pre-make this. But let's see what this takes. So this requires, let's see here, what does it take to make this stuff? So it looks like it's an electrolyzer with emerald dust that will give us aluminum, beryllium, and silicone dust, also with oxygen. So that's something that we could set up for sure. That shouldn't be an issue at all. Macerator is not needed. So let's go ahead and focus on the electrolyzer and do this recipe instead. So I'm going to go ahead, remove that. Only output that I care about. This is going to be on a passive flow. So no pattern providers or anything. This is just going to run just kind of like what I have going on over here. Matter of fact, since we already have some of this stuff here set up, let me go ahead and just slap down the electrolyzer so that this could just start making. So machine hull, overdrive, and runic. Wait, I'll go ahead and, oh, not right there. Right there. And then what I will do is, oh, that's not what I wanted. Come on. That's what I want. There we go. Go ahead and do that. That should be fine. Go ahead and put all these upgrades in. And then what I will do is I just add that into this guy. And this should start working here momentarily. Let me make sure that I actually have that craft. Emerald dust, which I do. But this needs a crafting card. That's what I was missing. All right, now this should be getting filled up here momentarily. While we wait for that, oh, there it goes. That was actually pretty quick. Let me go ahead and get my lubricant out, wherever that may be. So I could just go blink, and that could work a lot faster. Okay, so we should be getting the beryllium now, which we are. Perfect. So in order to make this, this requires a, let's see here, what do we get? Do I have to unpack it? So I unpack it. Something doesn't seem right. Hold on. I think we need to start making the industrial TNT now. We get to, oh, we did. Okay, so we already have that. So I need to set up a mixer so we can make industrial TNT, because we're gonna need to get this going. Okay, go ahead and mark that down. So nitrogen and toluene. Then we need sand and flint. Okay, and then I need another craft card. Perfect. Okay, let me go ahead and put this and this in here. Okay, while that's being processed, I'm gonna go ahead and get the upgrades for this. Overdrive and machine hull. Go. So now we have industrial TNT going into the system. Can now come over here and set up a pattern for this. This guy, which requires tiny dust, stainless steel nugget, and the industrial TNT. So I'll go ahead and throw that in, which then requires this as a craft. Let me go ahead and get that one going. Perfect. And we could put this in our matrix. All right, let me see how this works. Beryllium. Go ahead and just make, oh, I need stainless steel nuggets, which just requires stainless steel to be broken down into nuggets. That is nothing. So let me go ahead and make that craft as well. Matrix, so this right here. Okay, let's try that again. So beryllium, 10, and start. So it is crafting the, let me come over here and speed this up real quick. And there it goes. It's making it. Perfect. Okay, so we have beryllium now made. So we need 2 compressors, and then we need a packer. We can mark off the TNT because we got that out of the way. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and complete the quest real quick. Perfect. Okay, let me make 2 more compressors and then a packer. And I'm loving this new setup because it makes these so much faster now that it's less of a headache for me now, and it's perfect. Look how fast that was. 3 machines. Normally these 3 machines would probably take me anywhere to like 10 minutes last time. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put the packer here and then start on a new row. And before I lose out on anything else, let me grab all the upgrades for this. And then I'll also need import buses. and Excel cards. And then I also need to get some cables and another point. Put that down there, this. All right. So first thing on the list is the nuclear alloy plate, which requires the nuclear mix plate and the industrial TNT. So let me make this recipe real quick. This goes into a furnace. Let's see, I should have a furnace available, and I do. Okay, so let me go ahead and make a singular nuclear plate, and let's hope that this works. So far it's looking pretty good. That was actually really quick. I'm super shocked on that. Do I have upgrades in this? I do not. So let's go ahead and slap those in. Okay, so we have 2-time cadmium control rod. This requires an assembler with soldering alloy and helium. This also requires blast-proof alloy curved plates, cadmium rods, a large motor, and a robot arm. I'm pretty sure I don't have these set up, so I will go ahead and bookmark those. And then let me turn those. So I need a bending machine and a cutting machine. Okay, so those are done. And then I need another assembler. So that's 3 more machines. Go ahead and make an assembler, cutting machine, and I believe that was a bending machine. Bending, not that many. Okay, let's go ahead and grab that guy. Okay, so we have cutting machine, bending machine, and another assembler. You are going to take that. The cutting machine is going to take the rod, and the bending machine, and some more upgrades. All right, that's all done. So let's go ahead and see if we can request this now. Everything looks good, and it looks like everything's moving really well. Make sure to get the most out of it. Let's go ahead and tap everything here with, let me make sure I lock this in too. Yeah, literally our 2 slowest machines over here. Go. And then this should be getting the items here any moment. There it goes. And there we go. We are cruising so far, I feel like. Let me go ahead and claim that. Oh, I need 2 of these. Bad. Let me craft up another one. So this is doing tungsten right now. I need to label a majority of those machines because I have no clue just at the face of these machines what they actually do. This is breaking down, so it's a unpacker, I think. I have no clue where it's at right now. It might actually be a compressor. There it is. Okay, see where it's at. And right now it's making the plate. Oh, and it's done. Okay, so we have the 2-time cadmium control rods, which now we can move on to the next section. This is more of a crossroad. This will take us in either direction, it looks like. So let's go ahead and take a look. Ooh, this is a multi-block. Okay. The nuclear reactor allows you to process for higher end resources. We will be using it to generate deuterium and tritium. This resource will help you build a large reactor. Any smaller size is not recommended due to its speed and efficiency. Oh boy. The details of making an efficient reactor are far too complicated to be provided here. I will provide you with the best design possible here though. Here is a large reactor design to produce deuterium. This is an extreme size reactor designed to produce tritium. That is wild. Okay, so this is all nuclear. It is. Okay, so let me go ahead and do this at Modern Nuclear. I don't think that is everything. So let me see what else and the best thing you can do for things like this is you can actually just take a quick picture. So it looks like we need a nuclear reactor. That's 128 plus 8, so that's 132 nuclear alloy casings. It looks like 111 nuclear alloy pipe machine casings, 31 fluid hatch, and 6 item hatch. Okay, that's quite a bit. let's see what it requires to make these. So the processing units we have, the highly advanced machine hall we can make, the cadmium controls we just learned how to make, so it's these nuclear alloy large plates, which I'm sure is just a craft of a 2x2, which it is. So we could go ahead and make a crafting pattern for that, and we'll make a crafting pattern for this as well, something better. That takes 10 seconds and the same amount of time, so we'll do crafting pattern for this. Nuclear item hatch is okay, very interesting. So we'll do another craft for that. So far these are just simple crafting items. Here's the fluid, the nuclear, I think we already know how to make that. Yeah, we do. Again, just another craft, and it looks like we could pretty much make all of that, and I'll do a simple craft for that. This requires a hopper and a highly advanced machine hall, which is the same as this, so we'll just do a crafting recipe for that as well. Same goes for this one, like we already know those. So these are all crafting patterns, which should help with speed. Granted, everything else still needs to use the machines to be created. However, that still shouldn't be too bad. Let me throw all these in here. Alright, now with that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut away here. And I'll bring you back as soon as I'm done making the nuclear reactor here. Because this may take quite a bit of time, as there is a lot of items required to make just this one block, and we got a ton of blocks to make. So I'll bring you right back. Alright, and finally, after about an hour, I finally have this thing made. And yes, I did say an hour. Bottleneck was really these two machines, so I highly recommend making more than just one. And then also another bottleneck that I was able to kind of fix is this compressor that was making the tungsten nuggets from the tiny dust. This was moving massively slow, and how I fixed that was I gave this a highly advanced machine hall, which then is able to take in more power, which in turn means you can keep the efficiency up at a higher level. So you see here the max overclock is 32,800 and the current consumption is 32,800. So this does not move at a normal pace. And matter of fact, with this highly advanced machine hall, allowed me to also time wand this about a 16 time before any efficiency is lost, which sped it up quite nicely. So other than that, I finally got this fully built. And yeah, so let's go ahead and finish this part out. Not quite sure what needs to go in here, but I will definitely be figuring that out. Matter of fact, let's see if JEI tells us. Doesn't quite look like it right off the bat, but I'm pretty sure we're going to need to use fuel rods, and I believe possibly water is what it looks like in this diagram. Doesn't really say, unless that is actually yeah, this doesn't really say anything here, and it's not. This is what this produces, so it is water. Okay, so I just got to fill up all the fluid hatches with water, and then all the item hatches with a fuel rod, which is what looks like we're getting into next. So hopefully we can get this done quickly. So let's go ahead and drop down. First, before I do anything, let's see if this is the right stuff. If not, no worries. We'll be making this anyways, and we can get it onto a tank. Like, I can't even pull this stuff out. But just by looking at this, I do need to make the deuterium, which most likely means that I need to uh, also make the tritium, as this is mechanism stuff, and I need the modern industrialization fluids, which means I get to add more fluids to my hub over there. I think I have to make a new line because I filled up the other one, or the last one that I have. So I'll take a look at that in a minute. Let me go ahead and get this all situated. And what I'm going to do is keep moving forward. So the uranium rods, we'll start with just the uranium fuel rod, which looks like we have everything except for the uranium rod here. So we'll probably have to make another cutting machine so that we can make that. Should be fairly simple. So let me go ahead and that's with the packer. This is with another packer as well. Okay, grab. Oh, it looks like we do know how to make the uranium rods, which is good. Really good. We just need to add another assembler to the line, which this should be pretty quick, hopefully. Let me go ahead and get all the stuff needed. I already have the machine hall, so I just need to grab this. Grab this. Let me go ahead and lock this down. Again, I'm going to uncheck all of this to keep it open. Give this the necessary upgrades and power. And then we're going to swing over here to the back and give this an import bus. Okay, so we should be able to now make uranium rods, the fuel rods. Okay, not looking too bad. 4 was too much, or 5 was too much. I'm going to come over here because, like I said, this is our bottleneck, these two machines. But slapping them with the time rod, or the time wand, it makes it move so much quicker. As you can see, we're already almost done with this craft, which is good. So let's see, what do we need to make this one? So heavy water gives us deuterium and oxygen. We could centrifuge hydrogen, which we have infinite of, or we could just use our nuclear reactor. Matter of fact, I need to make 2 more of these because we are going to be putting them in here, I believe. And we got that. And then we need the other 2 that are being currently crafted. Give that some lubricant to speed that up. Am I able to make this chalice real quick? Yeah. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cut away and get all this situated. And hopefully, we'll be on our way to making the deuterium. I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so I was able to get this done pretty quickly because the eternal water block works wonderfully if you just want to do this kind of quick and dirty. So let's go ahead and get a creative tank. And let's see, do I need to make another one or do I have room? Nope, it looks like I need to make another one. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this in here. And now we have that infinitely. So, wireless connector, my tool. I already have it. Okay, so I got all that hooked up. Not too bad. What I'm going to do actually is put the rest of these down real quick. But we do have deuterium on, or in a creative tank. So let's go ahead and finish up the rest of this. What else are we going to be needing to do? So we got these done. And it looks like we need to now get the tritium, which it seems like there's a couple of things that we can do. And I would like to give this centrifuge a go. I'm going to pop on over here. And do I already have a centrifuge over here? No, I do not. Okay. Centrifuge. Look at that. I already got one. Very nice. Grab the upgrades real quick. Okay, while that's going, I'll start with mine. That was quick. Okay. So to get tritium, We need hydrogen, which in turn should give us the goods. And it does. Go ahead and smack this with the tank. Perfect. I'm just going to smack it with a wand to get a little bit quicker because this is coming in very, very slow. And I mean very slow. This is definitely not the way to do it. I would highly recommend maybe going with the reactor instead because I mean this is super slow. Alright, and just like that, we now have a bucket of this. So let's go ahead and slap this in a tank so we could not have to worry about getting any of that going anymore. Because that was super slow. Slap a storage bus, filter, and cable. And there we go. We have infinite, tritium, and deuterium. That completes that quest. Now we have this nuke, which we need to make in an assembler. That means we need another assembler to be created. Let me go ahead and stop this machine over here because we no longer need this. Pull that out and that. And let me slap this assembler down. Import bus with some accelerator cards. Give this the upgrade that it deserves. There we go. And we're also going to lock this down and make a pattern. Okay, I have to take a look at one thing here, which is this plutonium ingot. What is a good way to do this? Got plenty of plutonium, and I believe if we were to crush this, we could turn it into this. So let me go back a few steps here. So we need an unpacker, which is interesting. So unpacker, that recipe. Let me go ahead and grab this recipe real quick. Boom. And I'll throw this guy in here. Now, with this, I can make a crafting recipe for this. Go ahead and throw this in our matrix. Perfect. All right, let's give this guy some power. Import bus with upgrades. We need to grab the upgrades for the machine. Another one of these. While that's going, I will include these in here real quick. Be pretty much done here any second. Perfect. Slap that guy on there real quick. And let's see if we can make a nuke. I'm very tempted to try this out too, to see what it does. I tried the Manhattan module. That almost broke my computer, by the way. Because I turned off boring mode in the configs just to see what it'd be like. And let's just say it was not fun. I was frozen for a good solid 10 minutes. And during that 10 minutes, I died. And while I was stuck on the death screen, I died again. Somehow. Not sure how I died twice, especially when I was already dead. And yeah, it was just very interesting. And then I died again, third time. And then after the 10 minutes was up, I had to close my game, which took 5 minutes to force close my game through Task Manager, which normally is pretty instant doing it that way. And then I was able to get back into the game and it worked normally. So I just made the achievement. I've become Death, Destroyer of Worlds. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. So Nuke is been unlocked. I will get the plutonium here in a second. I wonder if this would work. No, that it does not. So I need to make it into a dust, which should not be a problem because I could do a macerator into the actual dust, which I could use plutonium for this. I have 3 million plutonium from when I did Extreme Reactors. That was a fun live stream, an extremely long live stream. I think that was part of my 12-hour adventure, my birthday stream. I don't quite remember 100%, but I think that's when I did the Extreme Reactors. I'm gonna make 10 of these. Grab this recipe real quick. Macerator, the one I want you. Go. Let's give this guy some power. Oh, not storage bus. I want import bus with acceleration cards. Machine hull is done, so I could include that. Has power. We should be good to go to make the plutonium dust here. I think I only need one. Yeah. Oh, does it want both? Oh, it wants both. Okay. But I could do that by hand for now. Not worried about it. So there's that. And then there's the tiny. And boom. That is done. Then we could check this off because that is exactly how we did it. We used the extreme reactor's plutonium for plutonium dust. And now we are on the home stretch. We just have this section up here to finish off. And we should be good to go. Okay, so looking at this, it looks like we just need to throw our depleted fuel rod into a centrifuge. And we will get the uranium 238. This one is, hopefully we'll get the uranium 235 as well. Let's go take a look. Let me get the rest of them out of here. I think I should have about 6 of them in total. You have one in the system. Perfect. And centrifuge. Already have that. I'm just gonna casually slap this guy down right here. Give it the upgrades that it deserves. Okay, and I will slap this in here, and then I will slap the tank. Okay, not too bad, but not exactly what I was hoping for either. But we did, however, manage to get that one done. So now we need to look at these other dusts. And it looks like that just requires us to possibly do this. Actually, no, not with this. That is nice. So it looks like we are definitely going to need more of these rods. Okay. And that's going to do it. We were able to get the LE MOX dust, the HE MOX dust, the LE uranium dust, and the HE uranium dust, and of course the plutonium dust, uranium 238 dust, and yeah, so basically you get the depleted fuel rods from your nuclear reactor and you put them through a centrifuge just like so, and you get these tiny dusts. Now with the tiny dusts, you could do one of two things. You could run the tiny dust through the electric mixer, like so right here. So like the uranium and plutonium to make the MOX dust, or the LE MOX and uranium, or the other one would be the uranium 235 dust. You could run that through the mixer as well. The tiny variant is perfectly fine, and that will give you the HE uranium dust or tiny dust depending on which version you're doing. Now the only downside to this is using the depleted uranium fuel rods does not give you a great yield. If we look over here, this gives you a singular uranium 235 tiny dust with a chance, a 66% chance. It wasn't a very good odd, so until I'm able to make the HE uranium fuel rods, which gives you the best yields, if we go ahead and look at the depleted one, this gives you 18. But in order to get the HE uranium fuel rods, we need the HE uranium rods, which in turn means we need the HE uranium ingot, which again in turn means that we need to get HE uranium dust. And again, each ingot only makes 2 rods. So to make sure that we could push this as far as we can, we're going to have to automate the reactor, the nuclear reactor, to create the uranium rods, time wand the reactor to deplete the uranium fuel rods quickly, and then pull those depleted rods out and then pushed them into the centrifuge, just for us enough to get the higher tier fuel rods. Again, that's only because we need to make these uranium rods, and that's why we need so much of these, like the He uranium, the Le uranium MOX, and He MOX all requires 18 of its own rod. So we just need to automate this a little bit to be able to make those. But honestly, all this whole section is not needed. The only one that was really needed, if you were going to use MI as your star progression, is the uranium quad fuel rod. If we go ahead and take a look at the ATM Star here, and you can see that, which is right here, the uranium quad fuel rod. Now again, this is an optional quest line. You could just use a blaze burner instead, which is also notated right here for the philosopher's fuel. You could use the blaze burner or the uranium quad fuel rods. So just kind of keep that in mind. But for right now, for this instance, we are pretty much done. I will, however, get these, fully completed so that in the next episode, we could mainly focus on the end game. We are super duper close. We are so close to getting this done. And some of these we could even pretty much knock out. Helium 3 bucket. How do you get that? Centrifuge with helium? Interesting. So if I knock this out, come back over here and put helium in here. This will give me helium 3. Wait, did I look at that right? Yeah, it's a centrifuge. Helium gives me helium 3. There it goes. Yeah, so helium 3 we're already getting. The small heat exchanger, do we have that already? We do. We could just make 2 of those real quick. The annealed copper ingots we should be able to make fairly quickly. How many do I need? Just 1. We could just speed that one up real quick. There's the annealed. And then carbon dust, we just make real quick. I think carbon dust is actually one of my broken... Oh no, it does work. Okay. There we go. So we got carbon fuel, or carbon dust, that's done. And then we could just, this is going to be pretty easy to go through. Just until we could have to make the qubit, the cooling cell, and the quantum circuit board. Once we make these, that will give us the ability to make the quantum circuit and the quantum machine hall. Once you get the quantum machine hall, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's like in-game power. It gives the machine the ability to accept as much power as possible. And then we just got to make, like 64 nukes. We got to work on getting the ultra dense metal ball. So all this is pretty much just going to be smooth sailing in the next episode. And again, like I said, in between episodes, I will have this quest line fully completed. It's going to take a little bit more automation and AFK to get enough of the uranium 235 dust to be able to progress further. All right. So with that said, we are done pretty much with Digital Age, and we are now in the end game. We are a few steps away from getting the quantum armor, and I am super excited because this armor, I seen how it looks, and it looks amazing. I cannot wait. Oh, I so cannot wait. Also, what I'm going to try and do is clean up some of these machines and get some processing arrays going as well, so that we're not having like a bajillion machines doing what a few processing arrays can do. But with that being said, if you guys liked today's episode, go ahead and smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And in the description below. I will have my Discord link, so go ahead and join up anytime you want. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.